Hello and welcome to this podcast. My name is Emma and this is a podcast where I share with you my knitting journey. So, welcome. I hope that you are well, that you have maybe something warm to drink or a knit with you, and so that you are cozy to spend maybe the next hour with me. I'm drinking my tea in a handmade mug that I made, so I'm really enjoying it, and that makes me happy every time that I drink in it. First, I wanted to talk to you about my last video that I made because it was something a bit different from what I used to do, and it was a focus on one project that I made on the mail shirt jackets, and I was wondering if it was something that you liked and that you would want me to make again. I don't know if every one of you was interested in this video because it's only on one project and maybe you don't want to make this jacket, but yeah, I would like to hear from you if you liked it and if you want me to make some more videos like this one. And to start with the projects that I made, I have a lot of things to show you today. I'm looking here because I have all my finished objects here and all my works in progress there. And how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 finished objects. Only small ones, no jumpers, but that's still a lot for me. And I have, I think, 3 works in progress. No, 4 of them. And one that I'm really, really, really excited about. So let's jump into it. I think the first one that I will talk to you about is the last project that I finished, and it's a beanie. Here it is. And if you watched my first episode, you may have already seen it because it's a button that I already made. And this is the Brownie family hat from Sandra, and I can't remember her last name. I think I always forget it. From Agasalos et Galos. I really like her patterns. Maybe I talk about one of her patterns in every episode that I film. And this is the first hat that I made, quite a tiny one, and this is the second one. So you can see the difference. And this was the smallest size that I made, which was for my son when he was born. That's why I made the smallest size, and he wore it so much. And now that it's getting colder and colder, he needed another one, and so I knit this one. I really like this pattern. It's a really easy one. It's really fast to knit it. I knit it in just a few days. Only knitting this, but still. I knit it with this wool here, which is, I used exactly the same one as the one I used when he was little, and I used it again because it's really soft and that he wore it without any problem. It wasn't itchy at all, and it's still 100% wool. It's Nepal from Drops, and the colorway is 2923, and it's like an ochre color. I think it's brighter, way brighter on the screen. It's not really yellow like this. It's more like really ochre. And how many meters? There are 75 meters per 50 gram bold. And there's alpaca in it. So it's 65% wool, and 35% alpaca. Maybe that's also why it's really soft. I haven't blocked it, but he already used it quite a lot to go outside, and I knit it quite in a rush because it's starting getting cold, and not long ago, and really fast. And one day I started it, and the next day his nanny was like, "Oh, you should really get a beanie because it's cold, and whenever we're getting out, like his head is getting cold." And like, I know, I'm knitting one for him, and I'm just knitting it as fast as I can, but it still takes a bit of time, and so that's why I wanted to finish it really, really fast. So I won't talk more about it because it's really a really beginner-friendly pattern. It's really easy, and it comes in a lot of different sizes. So the first one is for a newborn, which is this size, and it did fit him perfectly when he was born. And this size, yes, I made the size 2 to 5 years old. It was in between because he's not 2 yet, but I looked at his head circumference, and so I took the one from 2 to 5 years old, thinking, well, it's gonna fit him for the next few years. And when I was so it's knitted bottom up, and when I was knitting the brim, and it's folded, and when I was knitting the brim and then the beginning of the hat, I was really afraid that it would be way too big for him, especially since that fits my head, and I have a bigger head than him, but it's just perfect. So yeah, here it is, and yeah, I won't talk more about this. I really love this pattern, really easy to make, and really fast. So that was the first pattern, the first finished object. The second one is a scarf, and I think I've already started it in the last podcast, in the last episode. And this is like soft scarf, exactly the same as mine when I knitted a few months ago. And so the only thing, so if you haven't watched that episode, I can't remember which one it was, but my sister offered me a skein of yarn which was 100% alpaca, and it was a yarn that her neighbor made, and because her neighbor has 2 alpacas and 2 sheep, and so this was the wool from the alpaca named Ricky, I think. And so it was 100 grams, and it's really, really, really soft. And so I thought about making something really easy and close to the neck, because it was so soft that I could wear it around the neck. So I made myself a soft scarf, and then I had 45 grams left. And when my mom saw it, she was like, okay, I want to knit one exactly like this. But when she tried it on, it was a bit too itchy for her. And so I didn't really know what to do with the rest of the yarn. And so I thought I can make the same scarf for my sister. And so since I used 55 grams for the first one, I was missing 10 grams. So I looked through my stash and found, I had here, let me just take it. this ball of yarn, which is 100% alpaca. This is alpaca from Drops, and it's basically the same color. So I thought that I would knit a bit of it with this one for around 10 grams, and then the rest with the yarn from my sister. And so when I tried it, this is fingering weight yarn, and the one that I had was DK weight yarn, so I held this double. And when I tried knitting with it, I realized that although I thought it was soft before, after touching this one, this was not so soft. That's how soft this alpaca is. So I did the beginning with the alpaca from Drops and the end, and I don't know if you can see the difference. I'm trying to hold it like this, it will be easier. I don't know if you can see the difference of color. When I look at it, I can feel the difference, but I cannot really see it. So that's good. And I made the ends with it. So what my sister will have around her neck will be the soft alpaca, and only the two ends will be made with this one, which is still really soft, but for me, but nothing compared to this one. So there's not much to say about this, and I'm trying not to talk too much and for too long about each pattern, because those are really easy ones and I've got so much more to talk to you about, and I don't want to talk to you during 2 hours. So yeah, let's get to the third finished objects, and the three next ones go together. So as I already talked about in my last podcast, I think last episode, my sister makes some yarn. She hand dyes it with natural dyes. Most of them she grows the plants in her garden. It's really local, really natural. And so she has I'm looking for the yarn. Yeah. She has 3 types of yarn, and she sent me a cone of the middle one of them, the one that is, it's not the thinner, it's not the biggest, it's the one in the middle, and I'm just gonna grab it to show it to you. I didn't take everything with me, it's just right next to me, it's just everything a bit around the room. So this is her yarn, this is undyed, and this is in a cone. So this still has the spinning oil on it. So she hand spins some of her yarn, but not everything, but because that's way too much. And also this one is really like perfectly even. So that's the yarn. This is the size of the yarn, but it blooms so much when washing it. So I'm gonna show you 3 projects that I made with her yarn. But first, why did I make all those projects? Well, first it was to know what we could do with her yarn, which kind of projects, and I didn't want to make a jumper right away. And also because at the end of November, she's going to a yarn festival in Paris, and I'm gonna go with her. I'm really excited about that. And so we wanted to be able to show some finished objects and some projects that we could knit with her yarn. So that's why I knit those projects. So I'm not wearing them, and they are still undyed because she sent me a cone of her undyed yarn, because it was way easier just to knit from the cone directly. And so it's not washed and it's not dyed, but maybe she will dye some of the projects afterwards. Maybe before the yarn festival, maybe after, I don't know yet. So I made 3 of them, and here they are. So they're not blocked either, so they're quite a bit uneven and quite a bit stiff because of the spinning oil on them. But yeah. So the first one is a beanie that I made, and I made some cables to make it a bit more interesting, and I really like it. I didn't say that, but I didn't choose any pattern for those because maybe we're still thinking about it, but maybe she wanted to sell some kits with her yarn. So we know how much yarn is needed for a hat, for the other project, etc. And so maybe we could make some kits to sell the yarn. So I wanted to make the patterns myself, so she could sell the kits, and she could sell the yarn with some written instructions with it. And if I used some pattern, already existing pattern, she wouldn't be able to do that. So there's no pattern for this, but I wrote it. And so I did 1x1 rib here. It was folded for quite a long time. And yeah, I fold it. This is too small for me. It's more like a kid's version. And I still have to write the instructions for a smaller version and like maybe 2 or 3 adult versions to have bigger. And yeah, as you can see, the stitches, so I already blocked. I told you I didn't block them, but the 2 other projects I didn't block them, but for the beanie I did block it. And just to see how it would turn out for the stitches and yeah, and the cable and stuff. And that's how I saw that it bloomed so beautifully when washed. And I think this was only the first wash, and that it would be a lot better after a second wash. So yeah, this is, I really love it. I think her yarn is so beautiful, and it's rustic, so it's a bit dry, especially with the spinning oil on it. But it's not itchy at all. It's really nice. The feeling is really nice. I really like it. So that's the first one. And then my mom is also knitting with my sister's yarn. So she's knitting some cowls because she's more of a beginner, and so she wanted something straight. So I wrote her some patterns, just like more like beginner friendly patterns. So she doesn't have any cables, but she still has some interesting texture to knit. So it's not just stuck in a stitch. And so it's just like basic stitch. It's purls and knits, and so it's easy, but with texture, and it's quite beautiful too. So yeah, so for me it was more like not advanced knitting, but more like when you already know how to do increases and decreases and stuff. And obviously with a hat like this, decreases, the cable, etc. So the second pattern that I did were some mittens. And I think you can really see the difference without and with blocking. So this is without blocking, and you can see here the stitches are not really even, and you can really see the difference. It's more stiff. I have got two together, but it's more stiff, this one, because it really has a lot of spinning oil on it. So those are really basic mittens. Those are my size. I can show them to you when I wear them. So I knit them a bit longer, and if I want, I can turn this here so I have all my fingers that I think it's focusing on my eyes. Yes. So yeah, this is a really basic mitten, but it was yeah, just something easy to make, and we thought that if some people wanted to make something, a hand knit gift for Christmas, for example, since the festival is at the beginning of this end of November, beginning of December, they had some time knitting something like this, a quick and easy knit. So this is my size. I created them for I think 5 different sizes, and my mom is testing the biggest size. So this was the second one, and the third one, really like them. I'm so excited about them. And those are socks. Yay! And again, I think you can really see it. Not washed, not blocked. So I did like a 1x1 ribbing at the top, and then I did, I think it's a 4x1 ribbing all around the leg here. I did a heel flap and gusset, and then continued the ribbing on the top of the sock, of the foot here, and just stuck in a stitch at the bottom on the sole. And there's one left and one right sock, because I thought that with a yarn that was that big, it would be better fitting if it was different, if the decreases were different on the outside of the foot and on the inside, so where the big toe is and where the other toes are. And I think you can really see the difference here. So here are the decreases for the outside of the sock, and here are the increases for the inside of the sock. When I talk about inside, it's big toe and rest of the toes. And yeah, and they fit perfectly. So I'm so happy about them. They're so comfortable, and that's the first time I was knitting socks with big yarn. I always knitted my socks with fingering weight yarn, so I loved it. And it was a lot faster than knitting socks with fingering weight yarn. And I knitted the top of the socks, so we can fold it like this and make it even cozier, or we can just have a long leg, but I originally thought about wearing it like this. So yeah, I haven't blocked them yet because I wanted to block everything together. I did the beanie, but then I thought, okay, with the mittens and the socks, I'm just gonna wait until I knit a bit more projects with the yarn. So those were the 3 projects that I knitted with a yarn, and I absolutely love them. I'm not sure what I can knit next. Maybe I'm gonna grade the socks, because I only did those socks for my size, so I'm like 36, around 36, so that's European size. and so maybe I will grade them to have bigger ones, maybe smaller ones, like children sizes. And usually for my fingering weight socks, I knit them with 56 stitches. That gives you an idea about how big my feet are. I have small feet, so that's why I was thinking about grading them with bigger sizes also. And maybe I will knit a bigger size just to show how it looks like. But then I don't know. Maybe I was thinking about doing another beanie with another design. I'm not sure. I don't know. If you have any idea, would glad to hear it. And yeah, so that was it. And I have the next project that I have are again mittens, because I actually made them before the ones with my sister's wool. More as a test, because I didn't use any pattern, and I wanted to see how I could do the increases for the cassettes. And since it will be Christmas soon, I know it's a little early to talk about Christmas, but I wanted to make a handmade present for my son's nanny. And so I didn't want to rush into it and start in December and think, oh, I don't have enough time, and stressing about it. So I thought, I'm just gonna start now. It's gonna be easy, and it's okay if I keep it for 3 months. So I made her some mittens. And again, I blocked. I did knit a lot lately, but haven't blocked anything. I have to do that. So really basic ones, and those are a little bit bigger than the ones I made with my sister's wool, because her hands are bigger than mine, and her wrist a little bit too. I have a really small wrist, and also she's also always wearing a watch, so I didn't want her to be I didn't want it to be too small. And so I knitted with this yarn. I kept the label in it so I could show it to you. So this is Charlie from Fildar, and the colorway is lin, which means linen, and it's 100% acrylic yarn. I had that in my stash for ages, and I was really wondering if I would knit her some mittens with 100% wool, and I wasn't sure how she felt about it, how she felt about hand washing too. So I thought I would make her those ones as a surprise this year, and then I would also ask her about hand washing. I wanted her to be able to throw them in the washing machine, and so yeah, I thought that because she goes out almost every day with the kids, and I wanted to have her to have her hands warm when pushing the stroller, I think it's called. And so yeah, with the kids and everything, I thought that if it was getting dirty with some stains on it, it would be easier to be able to throw them in the washing machine. So yeah. Again, I did the math, calculated how much I wanted to have the gusset, how big I wanted it. And yeah, same as the other ones, I wanted her to be able to have all her fingers free, so she can turn it around, or she can have her fingers covered again up until here, like the other. So yeah, not much more to say about this. And I've got one last finished object, and this is a really, really tiny one, but I absolutely love it. And this is this tiny sweater. Yay! I wanted to make that. So yeah, I wanted to make that pattern for ages, and finally decided to do that this year. So this is also a present for my son's nanny, and it's not much, but I thought that she could put it on her Christmas tree, and so I want to make some more. So all of her family, therefore, and all of her family members can have at least one to put on the tree. And I'm looking at my notes. So those are this pattern. I took a pattern for that, and it's the tiny sweaters from Miriam Felton. I think she's German because the pattern is available in English and in German. And it's a free pattern that I found on Ravelry, and it's just a basic raglan sweater, tiny sweater. And I also want to make a beanie, so maybe I'll make one more sweater and maybe 2 beanies. I also have a pattern for a tiny beanie that I found on Ravelry, and it's not the same designer, and I didn't write down the name of the designer, so I can link the pattern down below if you're interested to make the beanie. And I just have to make the little hanger to be able to hang it on the tree. So yeah, I did that with sock yarn, that like a rest of the sock yarn that I still had. So that's it for the finished objects. And that was a lot of finished objects, but tiny ones, and not really a lot to say about them. So yeah, I hope that wasn't too long for you. Now about the works in progress. So I told you I had 4. Maybe I can start with the smallest one. So I'm gonna grab it. So the first work in progress that I have, I've already showed them to you in the last episode. So those are the In the Sections socks by Marcel & Smith, which is a pattern that has been published in the book 52 Weeks of Socks, the first volume. And I followed exactly the pattern, except that I knit with 60 stitches instead of 64, which was the smallest size in the book. And I did I lost the word for that. The heel? I lost the words. So I did the heel that was written in the pattern. Talked all about it in the last episode, and I think in the last episode I only had to bind off the stitches, and which I did, and I did it with a tubular bind off for a 2x2 ribbing, but it's not stretchy enough, so I will have to do it again. And I'm knitting the second sock, here it is. And I'm knitting them on my shower needles, on 1.5 millimeter needles. And yeah, there's not much to say about it. The yarn I'm using is the Maya sock yarn. I think it's a blend of merino superwash and nylon, like basic sock yarn. I really like the color. I'm showing you the sole, the back of it without any pattern, so you can really see the color of the yarn. And I don't have the label with me anymore, but I chose this yarn really for the color, not so much for the composition of the yarn. And yeah, I'm not really excited about the socks, so that's why it's taking me so long to knit them. But I picked them up again a few days ago and thought, okay, I have to finish them so I can knit some more socks that get me more excited about them. And I have 3 other socks here that I have in mind. They're hanged on the wall here. And I've only knit the first sock out of the 2 of those 3 patterns. And I'm really thinking, okay, now I should be knitting the second sock of those 3 patterns. So yeah, I want to finish those socks and be able to knit some more socks that I will be more excited about. Although I think they will be nice to wear, even though it's really like small, like they almost don't have any leg. But yeah, I want to do something else than those socks. So that's it for those ones. I've talked a lot about the pattern and everything in my last episode, if you're interested about that. And yeah, the next work in progress is a jumper. It's a jumper that I've remade 3 times, maybe 4. I don't know. To take care not to put my hair on the microphone so you can hear me well. So I'm gonna show it to you. I already showed you this jumper a few episodes ago, but the fit wasn't right, so I had to rip it and do it again. Where's the front, where's the back? Here it is. So I started this pattern a few years ago, I think, and I still love it, which is good. That means I'm gonna wear it, hopefully, with all the effort I put into it. And looking at my notes, so I didn't write that down. No, I didn't write that down. I lost the name of the pattern. I had it in mind before starting recording the podcast, and now I've lost it. So it's a pattern by Orlan Sush, I think. And it's a raglan jumper. You can see the shoulder line here. And it has texture all over it. And the one that I really, really love is the one that is here on the sleeves. It's on the top of here on the sweater. And it continues all the way down on the sleeves. And then we change the pattern, and here is the pattern that is gonna be all the way down on the body. I don't know if you can see really well. Yeah. And I'm just knitting it around now, the body. So it was way too big when I knitted the first time. And the sumac, sumac pullover, the name came back. So yeah, it's now only knitting in the round and for the body, and that's it. And I'm knitting it with this yarn, which is here. And I do have, so I dyed this yarn. I've already talked about it, I think, in the episode where I talked about this jumper. But this was originally the color of the yarn, and I started knitting with this color. I didn't like it, so I dyed it, and I dyed it in this color, which I really like. And yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough. That's the second skein I have. It's here. I don't know if you can see it. Well, I have another skein of it, and that's it. So I think I'm gonna have to dye some more, but I can't remember the proportions, and yeah, I may have to do some tests. But it's an easy pattern. Yeah, it just it keeps it interesting with the texture. Although I have to say, I don't know why, but usually I can remember pretty well with the cables when I have to make the cables. But this texture here on the body, for some reason, it's getting really hard for me to remember when to start again the V and when to stop it. So I'm trying to look, but now that I have a few centimeters of the body made, more than a few centimeters, but I can actually look above to know if I have to stop or to start a V. But I had to keep the pattern with me, which, yeah, it wasn't like the most easy thing to do, but yeah. And also on the side, there's another texture. I'm trying to show it to you. Where is it? It's here. It's a bit hard to show you. Here it is. It starts on the underarm and goes all the way to the bottom. So that's it for this one. I don't have much to say. I think I will finish the body and then do the sleeves and the collar. I'm not in a rush to finish it. I like it. I like knitting with this yarn. It's really rustic yarn. It's dry, not itchy at all, just dry. I think it will. It's a bit stiff at the moment, but it will get better and better with washing it. So yeah, that's it for this one. And I feel like I'm getting up and sitting down all the time on this episode. I put everything like all around the room and quite far away from me. So sorry that bothers you. So this is also a project that you've already seen in the last episode. So this is the I think it's a bit bright with the light, and maybe it's a bit hard for you to see. Maybe it's a bit too bright. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if you can't see really well because of the light. So this is the petit from Fiber Tales, and the last time in the last podcast I had knitted only the bottom of it here. And sorry, I'm trying to cover my face because the camera is focusing on my eyes. So I only knit the bottom, and I was folding it and knitting the round where I fold it. And so after that, I knit in the round the whole body. I split for the sleeves, knit all the way to the top for the back. I think I lost some needles because I have some live stitches here. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I will find it after. Anyway, so I had knit all the back here to the top. I knit the first front and realized it was way too big. So I had to start all over again, which I did, as you can see. And I ripped it all back and started again. But when I started again, I forgot to do this thing, like the few it's a 4-button placket, and so I forgot to do those bra stitches in the middle. So I realized it when I was here, and I wasn't gonna rip it back again all the way down, so I just started it there, and I thought, we won't see it. There's gonna be some a button placket on the front, so we won't see it, I hope. And then I knit all the way up to the shoulders, so the back, the two fronts, and I realized it was not, the sleeves were not the sleeves, the armhole wasn't big enough, so it's too tight, so I have to knit some more. And so I kind of got stuck there, and it's also too short, it's too cropped. So I knitted a bit longer than what the pattern recommended, but I don't know how long it was. Oh yeah, I knew, because I had to calculate everything. So in the schematics, there are not a lot of measurements, which is a bit hard whenever we want to change a bit of the pattern, because I knew that this was a bit too cropped for me. And on the photos of the pattern, it's really cropped. And she says that, the designer says that what's written in the pattern is a bit longer than what's on the photos, but we don't really know how much longer. I was like, I'm not sure what to do about it. And yeah, so I do have to knit it a bit longer to be able to close it, and it's not too tight around the armhole. But the problem with that is that it's gonna be a bit like on the front, it's gonna be a bit longer, and I don't want it to be too deep. So I don't know. And also I did a few modifications. It was 2 months ago that I did that. It was during the summer holidays, so I don't remember very well what I did, but I do think the modification, I can't remember how many stitches less I cast off, but I did a few centimeters less, a few stitches less in the middle, and did more decreases around the front here, because I didn't want to be too much of a like a square neck. It's not really a square neck, but it's not really round either, I thought. So I cast off less stitches in the middle and then decreased a bit more on the sides. So that's a modification that I made, and then now I'm gonna have to knit a bit more on the top of the shoulders and sew them together, and then knit the sleeves. But yeah, that kind of discouraged me to see that it wasn't fitting properly. So I kind of put it aside for quite a long time. Oh, and I'm knitting it with Holzgarn Super Soft, which is a fingering weight yarn, like more of a light fingering weight yarn. It's 100% wool. It's gonna loom when washed, so it has a bit of spinning oil on it. So it's gonna drape a bit more too. But yeah, I was really excited about this pattern because it's something that I will be able to wear in summer, in winter. Yes, it's in wool, but it's quite thin. It's quite airy, so I thought that I could be wearing it in summer, but yeah, it's not like it's also something that I will be able to wear in winter. So that's also why I started it in August, so I could wear it by the end of the summer and still wear it throughout the winter. But I'm not sure it's gonna happen. I will see. Maybe I will pick it up again and start knitting it. But I do have to think a bit about it and what I want to do with it, so that's gonna take a bit of time. So this is a project. I just wanted to show you like what I did with it in the past few weeks, because you only saw a bit of it, but I'm not sure that I'm gonna knit anything on this until the next episode, so we shall see. So that's it for this one. And the next and last project, yes, it's the last one, is the one I'm the most excited about. You haven't seen it yet, and I'm so excited about it. Let me get it. I also got more tea. Okay, so my camera stopped because it didn't have any more battery, which is not so much of a problem, but then I realized that my microphone wasn't recording anything since the beginning. So I checked. I think the sound is okay with only the camera, and I hope it will be okay for you. I put the microphone back on, but I don't know. I will see what I can do with the sound. I'm sorry if the first part, well, almost the whole episode, if the sound is not so good. I don't have much more time to record everything again, so I'm just going to continue. And I only had one project left, so yeah, I'm gonna finish with it. So I made a little break, ate some biscuits, refilled my tea, and I'm ready to continue. So as I was saying, The next project is something I'm so excited about because it's something that I had in mind for a long time. So I wanted to make a cable sweater, like a cream tweed cable sweater, and I couldn't find a pattern that I really liked, and I bought this yarn. I think I already showed it to you because I had this cone here that I bought at the same time as the brown one that is from Woolly Knits, and it's 100% wool, and I bought this one to make a cable sweater. So I looked through a lot of patterns, but I had something quite specific in mind, not for the cables, but for the construction, because I didn't want to have a raglan sweater. I didn't want drop shoulders, and I still wanted it a bit oversized. So yeah, I couldn't find anything because it was too specific what I was looking for. So I thought, well, why not make my own pattern? So that's what I did. So I did a lot of swatching. I did a lot of drawing. I'm really a really bad drawer, but I did a lot of drawings just to put down on paper what I had in mind, both for the cables and for the construction. And I'm going to show you my main swatch that I made. And so just to tell you, this yarn is from Woolly Knits. This is, I think it's written inside, so it's the color is Skidoo Nep Brown. It's a 500 gram cone, and it's a fingering weight yarn. And so I wanted to hold it double to make a DK weight yarn, which is what I did. So I'm going to show you the bottom here. Which is the yarn held double. And two things with that. The first thing is that the yarn blooms quite a lot when washed. So that was okay, I knew it would do that. But the second thing was that I thought it was too like beige, like maybe too oatmeal, like the color. And I imagined something a bit more cream. So, and also I thought that it was quite a thin fabric. You can't really see it, but apart from this cable here, I thought that the rest was quite thin. So I thought about adding another strand of yarn in it. So that's what I did on the top part. I added a white yarn in it, and if you can see, I'm gonna show it to you entirely, so you can see the difference of color and also of size, because I added one strand on the top, and I think you can really see the line here. Whoops, here, where I started to add the white yarn, and yeah, so that was my swatch. And then I was a bit afraid that we wouldn't see like the tweed effect so much with an added yarn that didn't have any tweed in it, but I think it's quite all right, and I prefer it a lot, both in the fabric that it makes and in the color. So I started all the calculations, all the math, which I absolutely loved. Some of you may think I'm crazy, but I loved this part. So I wasn't with my spreadsheet, and I was putting all the numbers and doing everything to know like how wide I wanted it, how deep I wanted the armholes, the color, and everything. And I absolutely loved it. So once I did all the calculations and everything, I started knitting it, and I'm gonna show it to you. Oh, the strand of yarn that I'm using is the same one. It's the alpaca from Drops that I had in my stash. I don't have it. Yes, I have it here. I can show it to you again. It's this one, 100% alpaca. This color is the color 01 0100. This one here. It's the basic white, I think. Have to go here. Oops, sorry. And it's 167 meters per 50 grams. And yeah, so this is the white yarn that I'm using and that I'm adding, and this is the sweater. There are a lot of yarns everywhere, and like it's a bit of a mess here. But I'm so happy about it. Look at that. I'm so proud of myself. Like being able to design all this out of something that I had in mind. I can't believe I did that. So what I did was because the construction, it was, I don't know why I couldn't find any pattern like this. I think that there are a lot of patterns that are made, and sometimes I think I only look at the same designers, and yeah, it's really hard, I think, to find sometimes new patterns, new designers. So yeah, I'm sure one that was as I imagined already existed, but I couldn't find it. So yeah, but I'm quite happy that I made my own. So in the construction, what I wanted was to have, I don't know if you can really see it, but I wanted to have the shoulders with the natural slope of the shoulder. So I didn't want them to be straight, to fit a bit more the natural shape of the body. And then what I don't like about drop shoulders is that it comes too far on the shoulder, and I don't like that look. And also it makes a lot of bulk on the underarm, and I didn't want that. I wanted an oversized sweater, not too much oversized, but still a bit oversized, and so I didn't want to have that bit bulk here under the arm. So I wanted a bit of shaping on the underarm too. So I didn't want a full satin sleeve, but I still wanted a bit of shaping and not like just a square. And I really wanted to have that slope here on the shoulder too. So that's what I did. I did both. So it's, I don't know how much you can see it. I did that, and then here I think you can really well see it is the armhole shaping here. At the back, it's exactly the same cable pattern, and yeah, and I think the tweed effect is okay. I don't know how much you can see on the camera of the tweed effect, but I feel like you don't see much when really there's a lot of like black naps. So yeah, so what I did was I did all the shaping. I started with the back, then did one front, the other front, joined under the collar, and then continued, joined on the underarm, continued a bit of the body until I ran out of one of the 3 yarns. And then I wanted to do the collar to see if the fit was okay, and I imagined it. So it's a bit of a mess because I didn't finish the collar, and I want to fold it. So I'm still knitting it, and I think I'm missing a few more rows. I don't know, I'm gonna try a bit, but it should look, I'm trying to fold it. The front should look a bit like this, as in my mind. So fold it like this, but at the moment it's just like this. It's just a big one. And once I'm done with the collar, I'm going to do the sleeves, at least one sleeve, to see how it fits. And yes, I still can't believe it. And I thought it was so fun, but really so fun to make. And I think I didn't start with the easiest construction and the easiest designing because, well, it was not, I had to do a lot of math to know how deep I wanted the shoulder slope, how far I wanted the underarm shaping, for the collar too, and like how many stitches to pick up for the collar. And also what was a bit difficult was that I had different gauges for the different part of the jumper with the different cables. So with those cables here, from here to here, it's the same gauge. This one here is a little bit bigger, so I need less stitches to make 10 centimeters. And then on the side here, I don't know how much you can see because I only knit a little tiny bit, but this is some mass stitch and the gauge is even bigger. I don't know if you say bigger or smaller, but you need less stitches for 10 centimeters. So I had those three different gauges for the same pattern, for the same sweater. So I had to juggle a bit between those three gauges, but it was okay. And yeah, I'm so happy about it. What I really like about it is that I did some cables where it's easy to know where I am in the chart, and also it's only one chart, and the repeats are the same for those two here cables, which make it a lot easier than to have three different charts and not the same amount of rows to make before the end of the chart, and you don't know where you're at, and yeah, it's a little bit complicated. And also now that I've joined in the round and that I don't go back and forth again, I put, and that I don't have wrong side rows, I put this little, it's not a progress keeper, it's a count, I don't know how it's called, but there's this little owl, like stitch marker that my partner made me, and with different, I don't know if you can see really well, and I can keep track of the rows I'm at here, So I move the stitch marker along the different holes in here to know which row I'm knitting. So yeah, I think that's it. And yeah, at the beginning I wanted to knit it bottom up, but then I thought, if I'm knitting the whole body and seeing that, well, it wouldn't have mattered much. But if I saw that the fit wasn't like the right one, it would have been a bit harder to modify it. And so I thought, for the first design, I should knit it top down, so I understand the construction, I understand a bit more what I can modify if something goes wrong, or yeah. So yay. And I kind of it seems it's gonna grow a little bit more in width, because I kind of stem blocked it, and I think you can see it a little bit. It's here, you can kind of see a line here, because I stem blocked it a little bit. Just gonna put away the needle here, and then I continued. So I think you can really see the difference. Here you can really well see the line really well here. Yeah, anyway, so yay. Quite excited about it. That's my main project at the moment, because I'm so excited about it. So yeah, I think that's it for this project. I don't have much to say. Yeah. The next thing that I want to knit is like a jacket. I know the last finished object that I had was a jacket, like kind of a jacket, the mail shirt jacket. But I realized that it was, when I wear it and it's a bit cold and there's a bit of wind, it's not like a jacket. It's not, the fabric is too loose and the air comes in too easily. And so I wanted to make a jacket, a woolen jacket, that keeps me really warm outside, and that I could put on top of another jumper, and that I could layer. And so I thought that it would be nice to make it again with unspun yarn, but like with 2 strands of unspun yarn, and with maybe a strand of mohair, of silk mohair. And but I don't know what I don't know. I looked on Ravelry, and I couldn't find a pattern that I liked. And so if you have any suggestion, I would love to hear about it. And I do have, so I still have this Manchelopi from Wool Dreamers. So this is the one that I used for the master jacket. I still have 2 plates of it, but so that won't be enough, and I don't want to make it the same color, but I have some other colors too. So I have those 2 here. So this is the one that I used to make the September vest for my mom. So I used 1 strand of this and 1 strand of silk mohair. And so I still have 2 plates of this one, and half of a plate that's already into a bowl. And I've got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 4 of this one. And I think I would like it in this color. But yeah, if you have any suggestion that you think of to make like a warm jacket, like a bit of a size, not too much, but yeah, just to have a woolen jacket. Yeah, I would love to hear from it. And whoops, I broke a bit of this yarn. And also in my next project, in what I have in mind, is to knit like a scarf, a little scarf. Maybe it can be a Sophie scarf or something like that, with this yarn here. For my toddler. So this is a yarn from Katia. It's a concept yarn. It's cotton merino. Oops, sorry. And I think it's a DK weight yarn. Yes, 50 grams, 105 meters. And so cotton and merino, and it's really, really soft. And with those lovely colors, I really love them. And I just realized that I wouldn't wear something with those colors like this, and it makes some stripes. I didn't think it would make some stripes. I thought like a yarn like this would be just a variegated yarn, but not striped. So yeah, I think because my son has a cow, but so it's practical because it won't fall, but also it's a bit big, so sometimes it comes into his mouth and it's not really comfortable for him. So sometimes I put him my Sophie scarf around his neck when we're on the bike or whenever we go out, and I think it's quite comfortable for him. So I would like to knit him something like this. And also in my next projects that I have in mind, I don't know when, but I would love to make a vest for myself. So I think I mentioned it, but when I was knitting my the September slipover or September vest, I can't remember how she called it, but for my mom, when I started it, I thought that I would knit her one and then I would knit myself another one. But knitting brioche for a whole slipover, it took a long time, and I can't be bothered knitting one for myself. She told me that she was wearing it all the time, so I'm so happy about it. I'm sorry I don't have a photo or a video of her wearing it, but it fits her well. It's a little bit too big on the body. It fits her well on the shoulders and on the top, on the chest, but on the body it's a little bit big, but it's okay. And I'm really happy, and she told me that it was really warm, so I'm really happy that she wears it. And so I thought that maybe with a brioche stitch it's a bit too warm. I'm still thinking if I would wear more a slipover with a v-neck or a round neck. So I'm not sure yet. Maybe a round neck, like a crew neck, and with a button shirt underneath, or any shirt, because then I wear a lot of shirts, and then it wouldn't be weird with a v-neck maybe. So yeah, maybe I would use the same combination of yarns with one strand of manchalopi and one strand of silk mohair. Maybe I could use this one. I'm not sure. So those are the projects that I have in mind for the future. No rush. The slipover would be nice because at work it's really cold. So we all wear a lot of layers, and so I wear my scarf at work. But I would also like to have like a sleepover, so I have my arms that are free and it's easier to move around, but I'm also warm. So yeah, but no rush. And yeah, I had one last thing to show you. It's not gonna take so much time, but it's a sewing project, and you've already seen the last one that I made, and it's another bum bag. And this one I made it for my sister, and the only thing that I modified is that I put some pockets in it. So she asked me to make her one, and she asked me, I'm sorry, it's a bit hard to show you the pockets in it, but she asked me to have some pockets in it. So I did, and there are 2 pockets here. So it's a little bit easier, and I found that it was missing some pockets in mine and in my partner one. And I love it, and it's really nice because this is a fabric that we brought back from Tanzania, and it's a trip we did with my family, and so we chose this fabric with my sister, and so I think it's really special that I make her this bag with this fabric. I won't talk more about it because I already talked about this pattern in my last episode. So yes, that is it for today. And also I would love to hear what you're knitting and your projects, because when I started this podcast, it was also to be able to share and to discuss with you about knitting, because I thought that it was something that I was missing, to be able to talk to people about knitting projects and yarns and stuff like this. And so yeah, it would make me happy to hear what you're knitting, what are your plans and stuff like this. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this podcast, and I will see you soon. Bye!